Oh my god. I know you guys probably want an embarrassing moment instead, but that's being saved for Valentine's Day. Trust me, you'll love it. Either way, welcome everybody to Kill Some Zone, and it has been it's been a minute. It has been a minute since I've done this series. And I've always been putting it off like, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. No, I'll do it tomorrow. No, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it next week. Obviously, that's never happened because about 8 to 9 months later, maybe it's a bit longer, the series still hasn't been finished, so I'm here to finish it today. Better late than never, I guess. Either way, so when I was younger, for those that don't know, I was a Sonic fanatic. Sonic is still one of my favorite characters of all time. He's number 2 behind Spider-Man, and it was the same way when I was younger. However, when I was younger, I used to pretend a lot that I was Sonic the Hedgehog. And this was very evident whenever I went to school. I would hang out with my friends who also loved Sonic characters, and some of them would be like Silver or Amy or Cream or Shadow. Like, you'd have those people, right? Now, a little bit of a sidetrack for a sec. When I was younger, there was this kid named Curran. Piece of shit. For at least a little kid, anyways. He was one of those kids that thought because his parents owned a surf shop and that he had like a decent allowance, which was like about 20 or 30 bucks every week. Keep in mind, for a kid my age back then, that was like being rich, and that was the same for him. He would think that he's rich, and he would try to walk all over people because he had the muns. And he was one of those kids. He was a prick. But yeah, so that dude hated me. Now the reason why he hated me is because apparently of two reasons. One, I was the brother to my sister Rachel, who Rachel he tried to flirt with, and she never really, noticed his advances. So he got kind of mad about that, and for some reason blamed me. And then he also got mad because apparently another girl that he liked happened to like me, but I didn't know that. But I liked her too, so he thought that I took her away. It was weird. Something. It was like he thought I was trying to. I don't know. Little kid shit is weird. But either way, basically back then what we would do is we would do little fights. Now it's not like, oh yeah, I'm gonna beat your fucking ass, bitch. Let me bring the. It's not like that. No. Okay, maybe sometimes. But it was like, we would grab each other, throw each other to the ground. We would toss each other around. There was this playground at recess, right? There's two separate playgrounds. And the two separate playgrounds were meant for different age demographics. We had the kindergarten playground, which was in a sand lot. So the ground underneath the playground was sand. Now the ones for the bigger kids, wow, I really need a haircut. I just realized that. I really need a haircut. Either way, now the one for the bigger kids, which is the ones for like 3rd grade and up, that one was on this weird kind of rubberized material where it looked like they got a bunch of rubber pieces that were maybe about that big, and they put them together a lot on this mat thing to make it like a rubberized ground. It was kind of weird. If you fell on it, it hurt like a bitch. But yeah. And so basically we would play on the big boy playground. Sometimes we did play in the little playground. And not gonna cap, I got my ass handed to me by Curran and his friends at the Sandlot. Ooh, let me tell you that story. Alright, so let me set the scene. So we have my boy David. Really cool dude. At least back then anyways, I don't know how he is now. We have this dude named Kevin E and Kevin O. The reason why we call him Kevin E and Kevin O is to differentiate them, because their last names start with an E or an O. Go figure. And James. James was fucking huge for a 3rd grader. Like, that dude was fucking tall as hell. No one wanted to fuck with that bitch. But either way, one day Curran's friends, right? Because Curran had his own group. His group was bigger, but they wouldn't always all want to play, fighting or whatever. So there was one time where 2 of his friends like caught me, and I was like running like running supersonic speed or whatever, and I was running. They caught me by the arms. Probably a bad idea for me to stick my arms out, but I'm a little kid, I'm a dumbass. So he grabs me by the arms, and he's like, okay, bitch. And like, he holds me back. My friend is like, my friends are watching and all that. For some reason, they don't like connect the dots that I may need help or something. They think like, I guess I'm just chilling with these guys, even though he grabbed me by the arm. Then his other friend comes up, right? And this guy's guy's, I'm pretty sure he can hold back my arm. Especially since I was a fucking twig back then, just like I am now. So I mean, nothing much has changed. But he started holding me back, right? He started holding my arm, he holds my other arm, and I'm just like, and I'm like trying to fight back. Bitch, how the fuck am I gonna pull myself out of that? Like, even by third grade standards, I was small and like a twig. I did hurt some people in those fights, but not this time. So Current comes up and he's like doing this whole thing where he's like, ha ha, I beat you, ha ha, now we're gonna give you cooties or something like that. And I'm like, nigga, the fuck? And he's like, give him the cooties, guys. And I'm like, wait, what the fuck I'm basically thinking in my head, obviously I didn't say this or thought this, but you get my point. I was like, oh shit, what the fuck's going on? What the fuck's going on? These guys are such jerks, I swear. So what they did, right, was that the guy on the right, I believe it was the guy on the right, might have been the guy on the left, doesn't matter. One of them that was holding me tripped me. Like, he stuck out his leg in front of me as they were walking me away, tripped me, and then both of them, since they were holding my arms, they pushed me a little bit, then let go and let me hit the dirt, right? And so then Current said something like, okay, get him up, and then like he grabbed my hand and pulled me up, and I think I was about to cry. I'm not gonna cap. I think I was about to pull a bitch move and start fucking crying, but I didn't. Thank God. Cause back then I was a bitch. But yeah. And so Curran's like, oh, don't worry about it. You can go home now. And they pushed me a bit, and I was like, okay. I was just like, ugh. I ended up yelling at my friends for a bit. I was like, why didn't you help me? And they're like, oh, we thought they were for your friends or something. I'm sorry, but my friends back then weren't also bright. They know that we have been quote unquote fighting these people for a good minute, but they thought we were okay. Now the mulch scene. This is where shit gets fun. When we start playing the big boy playground, right? This is where shit got real. We don't fuck with the mulch. I lost again. Now keep in mind, I didn't lose every fight. I did win a few. Like a few. But there was one fight that I remember so vividly, mostly because that was such an ass beating. Like, I took a fucking L. Basically, what ended up happening was that we were playing on this playground, right? The one with the weird rubberized mat, right? And so this playground, obviously, is like a 2-floor playground, quote unquote. So I was at the top, and I was fighting Current. We were pushing each other around. I, pushed him a little bit into the bars or whatever. And so what he ended up doing... Really smart kid, I'll give him that much. He ends up, because the playground, obviously, when you go to the slide, you hold onto this thing, like the ceiling thing. And you kind of, pull yourself forward and, slide down, you feel me? Well, he saw where that was, and he pushed me into that, and I hit my head on it, right? I was like, ah! And I started, I lost kind of, my balance after that. And what he ended up doing was, I swear to God, he just goes, he pushes me. And I end up falling down the slide, and I end up flipping around just a little bit, not too much, flipping around just a little bit, and I hit the mat, and I fell. Thank God I fell on my side. Was it my? Yeah, it was my side to my back. Thank God it wasn't face, because I know I would have cried like a bitch. I ended up tearing up a little bit. I'm not gonna cap, because I was a little bitch back then, but Then my friends came back, and I think James and David are the one that jumped Curran, and what they ended up doing was that there was this thing on the playground, right? Where it was this weird circular thing, right? Like a corkscrew. And you climbed up the corkscrew, and it took you to where the slide was, right? What they ended up doing was they ended up hitting him into the corkscrew. The problem with that is that when they did that, I guess they were not thinking all that well. When they did that and they pushed him into the corkscrew, he kind of fell. And he stuck out his hand. Yeah, you can kind of see where this is going. He badly injured his hand and needed a cast for a bit. I don't remember if he broke it or fractured something or whatever, but I know he needed a cast for a little bit. And that was their fault. I don't have anything to do with that. I don't think anyone got in trouble for that. I don't know if they did, because I don't think anyone fessed up who the fuck did it. But, yeah. Then, another failure. Why am I talking about only my failures? I'm going to talk about one of my wins before I end this story. There was this division, this divide between both the playgrounds. It was this big patch of grass, right? And this big patch of grass was you could consider it the length of half of a school track, right? It was a pretty decent size. And what we would do is, because the gym teachers were too lazy to take us to the track that was all the way in the back, they would make us run around in that grass patch, which is a pretty big patch. And so me and David were running on that, and we were trying to have a race. Back then, I was all about the races, man. Up until, from like the age of like, 5 all the way up until I was maybe about 13 or 14, I was all about being the fastest friend there was. Hell, even when I moved here, I would have races with Marcus and whatever, and we would have fun. I didn't put my arms behind my back. I did that mistake in middle school, but I didn't do that. I didn't do that while I was racing Marcus, thank God. But yeah, so we were racing on that little patch, right? And David was beating me, so I was like, I gotta pull in my Sonic speed, and I just started like, I basically started cutting corners basically to cheat, and I was thinking I was going faster because I said, oh, I'm going with Sonic speed. I was so fucking stupid. But basically what ended up happening is that, Curran saw us. One of his friends comes over, starts racing with us, and he trips me. Right? And I ended up falling, and at that time I fell on my face. I tried to hold out, like, my arms like that. I hurt myself and my face. Go figure. And so David got kind of mad, and he started pushing the guy. And the guy was, like, roughly about my size. David was a bit bigger than me, just a little bit. So he ended up pushing him back, and, like, the dude didn't want to fuck with David. The dude did not want to fuck with David. And David's, like pushing him away, like, get away from him, get away from him. Needless to say, that guy didn't want to fuck with him, and he walked away. Kind of fast. You could almost say like it was running. But yeah, now let me talk about a win. Because I need to talk about a win before I just look like I took a bunch of L's in fucking elementary school. There was one time, right, where I'm fighting Curran or whatever, right? We were fighting on the playground with the rubberized mat, right? And so, we were fighting on there and whatever. We were pushing each other around. Keep in mind, we're on the first floor, right? Not the second. Second will come important later. And so, I'm fighting with him on the bottom floor. And we start going towards the steps. And I'm pushing him, he's pushing me. I'm getting my back hurt, he's getting something hurt, I guess. And then what I end up doing, real bitch move on my part. I'll give him that much at least. I pulled a bitch move. I may have kicked him in the balls. I kicked him in the balls, but it was like an instinct thing. Like, I felt like I was gonna get my ass beat. It was an instinct thing to kick him in the balls. I know it's a quote-unquote dick move. Pun intended. But, bear with me. And so I kick him in there, and he's like, what I end up doing, perfect revenge. I end up, grabbing his arms, right? I end up grabbing his arms, dragging him, and I put him on the slide, right? And he's still holding on to his balls, so I push him down the slide. Keep in mind, his back was turned towards the slide, so he did a few flips. Needless to say, he did cry. Needless to say, I may have gotten in a little bit of trouble for that. Because I did get caught that time. It's amazing how I got caught with that, but all the other times that I got my ass handed to me, I think they only got caught once. And keep in mind, I did get my ass handed to me quite a bit. I mean, I did win a few matches, I'm not gonna lie. Because, not a total bitch. Ladies. Either way, so that guy's been this one video to close. Don't forget to like this video if you did. Don't share this wonderful video with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to Unlockable Stories for more vlog type shit like this. It apparently takes 8 months to finish, but might be more actually. Might be 8 to 10. Anyway, with that, guys, been this one video to close. Also, I just want to put it out there. I did technically have this video recorded about 8 to 10 months ago, or whenever the last video came out. Might be 8 months. I did have it recorded. I just never was happy with it. And so I just said, fuck it, if I'm happy or not, this is going up today, so... Anyway, with that, guys, been this one video to close. I'm KillZombZone, and I'm out for now. Peace. I really gotta get a thumbs